Hey everybody, it's Jeff Slakey, Spencer Hughes from the Daybreak Show. We're with Jeromy Hicks from the North Mason Regional
Morning.
Fire Authority, and the weather is getting nicer, and that means more and more people here in Mason County not only coming into the county, but then as they're here spending time on some of our beautiful waterways. We have some 200 lakes in the county. We've got the Hood Canal, the Puget Sound. We're surrounded by water, and safety is paramount, especially with you in the fire service. Tell us a little bit about what you know to be true on injuries and deaths when it comes to water-related activities.
Well, Jeff, most of the deaths and injuries in the water are preventable, especially the deaths from people that don't wear life vests. There's 658 drownings last year, and all those are preventable.
Sure.
The U.S. Coast Guard says of those, 86% of them, the drownings occurred with people not wearing life vests.
So one of the things that we know or think that we know is that if you have some sort of aptitude in the water, that maybe, well, I don't need a life jacket, or I'm just sitting on the dock fishing. I don't need a life jacket, only if I'm out on a water ski or something, but that's not true at all.
Absolutely not. What we found too is, especially with kids, is parents will take their kids out and go, well, okay, we're on a boat. We're required by law to have our kids in a life vest, and that's great. But think of walking to the boat on the dock, or walking near the water, or pools. That's a whole different paradigm there.
Sure.
I mean, just pool drownings from leaving your ladder in the pool, and kids. I have two. I have a 6 and a 10-year-old, and when my son was younger, he would crawl into everything. And if you're a parent, you know that. So having a life vest on your kid when you're going to the boat, on the dock, or near the water, get your kids used to wearing them. Once they're used to wearing them, it's like sitting in a car seat. They just know they have to do it when they're near water. They're cheap. They're easy to find. If you don't have one, you come into Mason County. We got loaner stations. We'll let you borrow these for the day or 2 days or 3 days, however long you need them. We've teamed up with local a hardware store in Belfair, McLennan's Hardware, to sell these at a discount for the citizens, and I know other fire districts work on that throughout the county too. So check with your local fire district on these life vests, and again, if you want to borrow one, come get one.
We'll talk about where you can get those.
Absolutely.
We have got a couple different varieties of life vests here. They are both youth designated. One is a child here. This one is a child 30 to 50 pounds.
That's
here,
why
as
that
you
one
can
didn't
tell.
fit me. I tried it on.
Yeah.
It's not going to fit you here, and it's not going to fit me either. But
That one's not going to fit me.
what are some of the things? I noticed this one has 3 straps to it and kind of an under leg strap. This one here is a little larger youth size.
Yep.
And is missing some of the features that this one has. Let's start with this. What can you tell us about this one?
Okay, so this one's in all the life vests that are Coast Guard approved will have a couple different things on them. One, it will tell you a child, youth, or adult, and it will tell you a weight range for them, and that's what the flotation is geared to protect.
Okay.
Especially on use, they usually will have 2 or 3 straps in the middle, and then kind of the crotch strap to go underneath. And the big thing with that is, if you have kids are pretty wiry, so you put this on, they get in the water. If they don't have anything holding the life vest, it just pops right off.
Sure.
That was my biggest fear when the kids were little, is that the fitting wasn't right, or
Yeah.
they would slip out of them.
You're absolutely right. So what we tell people to do is put this on, do the bottom strap all the way to the top, and then the crotch strap is just basically to hold it. It's not to be uncomfortable. And what they say is, put these life vests on, and the kids should be able to put their hands all the way up in the air, and this should not move more than 3 inches above their shoulders. So if you pull up on this, it should sit here and not come up over 3 inches on their shoulder.
So I've seen sometimes when you have life jackets on and they'll be in the water and they'll come up on the face. What's that? What's the story on that?
Well, usually it's not secured properly around their belly, or the crotch strap is missing, or they not have it. I see a lot of parents that will just take this off, bring it around, and snap it on, not use it properly.
Uh-huh.
And for that, I get it. The kids sometimes are uncomfortable, but you might as well not have them in a life vest then, because
What's
it's
that
not
right
being
up-
used
yeah.
properly. It's just going to float right off their head.
Yeah.
And you see the kids in the water.
Yeah.
They're sitting like this.
Yeah.
And the only thing holding their holding it on is their arms down. If their arms lift up, this is going to pop right off.
It's like a bicycle helmet. If you don't strap the chin
You're right.
strap, it's going to fly off.
Might as well just not wear the helmet.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to use these properly. Now, as we get to the youth sizes, the cross strap's not used anymore because they're the bigger body frame. Same thing goes. This is designed to sit down around their belly and just under their neck. This is the point too where you don't want this to go over 3 inches on their shoulders. As people get bigger, they tell you in kind of the young adult and adult is to put this on, put your hands up like you're doing the goal sign, and move your head side to side. Your chin should not touch this, the shoulders.
Okay.
So you should be able to do this and turn side to side, and your chin should not be able to touch this. And that means it's properly fitted down around your shoulders and down around your belly.
Now it says weighted 30 to 50 pounds. This one's a little bit more on those, but I noticed this one says chest size and things like that. So it's kind of dependent on the size of your child as well, or I mean you don't.
Yeah, you'll start to see that as you get bigger into the small adult, larger youth, and adult sizes, because it doesn't go so much off the weight as it does the chest size. Because you could be 6'5" and have a smaller chest size, or you could be 5'10" and have a bigger chest size. So you want to make sure the weight is important because that's kind of what the flotation's designed for. But the chest size is going to tell you that this will actually go around your chest and fit perfectly. I've seen people out there, and if I were to put this on, well, let's not joke, it wouldn't even come close to fitting me, but I see people that have it, and there's a big space here. These are designed to come...
So they should kind of touch.
Yep.
Like that. Okay.
And you'll see some of the newer ones. You go... Costco's a good example of the flotation. They have the neoprene ones. I always call them like the wakeboarder life vests. They're designed, and they're really designed to fit the person. Once you get in those neoprene ones and they start molding to your body, those are ones that are designed for that individual. You don't share those around. You don't have 15 on the boat that you pass around. These ones are a little more universal. That this is the form they're going to fit. They're not going to change a lot, and you can move these around. The other big thing I've seen on boats is boats are required to have these. And they're required to fit the people who are on board, and they're supposed to be easily accessible. The problem you have, is, especially with a youth one, is, my son was 3 at one time. And I put this on the boat, and it goes under the seat, and it sits there. And then I go, oh, okay, well, every year I'm going to get a life vest, and we're going to upgrade him. And then I go, oh, well, I have all these life vests on board. Oh, okay, I have 8 of them. Well, they're all 3-year-old life vests or 4-year-old life vests or
Right.
5-year-old life vests. So once you get where your kids outgrow these, get them off the boat and put life vests on that properly fit everybody. Now, remember, your kids have to have them, but we're terrible with adults because adults swim. Oh, we won't fall in the water. We won't have an injury. A big amount of those deaths were adults.
I was going to say
Falling off boats or hitting their head and going in the water. Alcohol is a big contributor to a lot of those injuries. But adults on the boats, even if you were to go out to your friend's boat right now, open up the console where all the life vests are. They're probably those orange life vests that came with the boat when you bought it because they're required to sell them with you. Great, they'll work. Get in the habit of using your own life vest, the own safety features of your life vest, how it works. Is it a zipper? Is it a snap? Does it go on this way? The new ones are the CO2 inflatable vests that activate when you hit the water. Those are great. Make sure they fit right. My body chassis is way different than your chassis, way different than your chassis. If I go on your boat and you bought 4 of these for all your friends that are your size, and then I get on your boat, it might not fit me.
So let's talk about that when it comes to, I've seen those, they're just more tube-like here, and they'll inflate when they touch the water.
Correct.
Is water, and there's no difference between freshwater and saltwater when it comes to these things.
Correct.
And you're on a boat. If you're fishing, I know that you have to have a better range of motion if you're doing those things. But again, these ones will work as well as these ones, but you just have to have them.
Yeah, they're Coast Guard approved. Make sure they're snug. The one thing, if you actually read the directions from them, they're great life vests. In fact, they're really expensive life vests. And you're right, a lot of fishermen use them, or people that are shrimping, they have to have range of motion.
Yeah.
The thing is, make sure they're on secure, because they actually fit a little more snug, because they're designed to fit a little more snug, so they're not in your range of motion. You leave them loose, then they become just like improperly fitted life vests. So, with those great life vests, make sure you follow the specifications on how to fit those properly.
Fire departments often are able to help parents figure out how to put their child's car seats in and things like that. Are you also available then? We go to McClendon's, we get a good discount up in Belfair. We come by the fire hall, show these to you. You say, that was not a good purchase. Go take that back. What you're looking for is something based on your child's, at this year of your child's life, this is the size you're looking for. You guys can do all that?
Yeah, we have right outside our fire stations, we have the fitting stations. You can knock on the door, the firefighters will help you. We just got done doing an event up at Starbucks in Belfair. Next month we'll be at Starbucks again doing some bicycle stuff. Anytime, come fit these. In the worst case, you come from out of town, or you come, let's say you come from the south end of the county, north end of the county, and you don't want to drive back and get your life vest, stop by a loaner station.
Yeah.
If this doesn't fit, we'll get you the right one for the day, and then you can figure it out later. We don't want you not to have the right life vest, or better yet, we don't want you to have to tell your kids, sorry, we can't go boating because we don't have a life vest to take them home. I couldn't imagine that.
Where are the loaner stations?
So we have 5 of them in North Mason. We have Fire Station 21 on the Old Belfair Highway. We have Fire Station 27 up in Collins Lake area. Fire Station 81 in downtown Tahuya. And then both the state parks, so Belfair and Tawana State Park have them.
We've talked recently this last week with Fish and Wildlife representatives. Also, we've seen some sheriff's office, detachments out on the water. If you don't have your life jackets, your life saving devices, there are fines, right? You can be fined. What do you know what those numbers are?
That would be better for them. I know with Mason County Sheriff's Office, they have a very proactive group of people that are out there on the water. And with that, it's strict. You have to have this stuff on the water. We've worked with them. They know where our loaner stations are. They do boat checks as you put boats in the water. If you don't have them, then the loaner stations are there for your use. But don't, not only from the fine standpoint and the strict standpoint, but the safety standpoint. Yeah. Don't be caught without these.
Right.
Is there a misconception that only kids or not great swimmers need these? I mean, is there kind of a cockiness where people think, I don't need these. I've been swimming for 20 years, 30 years.
Absolutely.
And that's where most of the accidents and deaths probably happen from, is kind of overconfidence maybe.
Yeah, look at the things that are required to have life vests all the time. Jet skis, people on wakeboards, knee boards, water skis. You're required to have these, because the instance if you get hurt and go down, you don't have the ability to put this on. Boating's the same way. How many times have we all been on a boat and we hit this kind of rogue wave, or jet ski goes in front of us, or we hit this power down real fast, or something happens with the motor and then you fall forward, you kind of get jarred in the boat. Think if that's your head. Now you're hit your head and you go overboard. You can't go, hey, throw me a life vest. That doesn't work that way. So there is a huge misconception that these are for kids only. I love seeing kids in them. They're actually required to be on them on boats under
18 and under, or
yeah,
16?
You know what?
Probably best to be 18 and under.
Yeah, I think it's 19 and a half. It's a kind of a weird number, and I don't want to give people the wrong footage on that, but it is required under a certain footage of boat. We have friends with boats bigger than that. My kids still wear life vests, and my kids are excellent swimmers. Which is bad as a parent to say, you need to wear yours, but I'm not going to wear mine. Right. But, I mean, let's just look at the instance of kids up walking around, not balanced.
Sure.
The same as an adult. So, really, we should be in those.
Jeromy Hicks from the North Mason Regional Fire Authority. 5 of these loaner stations all around the north part of the county. We can put the links to those locations or the addresses for folks.
Absolutely.
Once you head out onto the water, please have the proper fitting life-saving apparatus here. So these are the main ones that we've seen. A lot of folks see those old orange ones, and they still work.
They still work,
but these are a little easier for movement and
Yep.
stuff like that. Well, thank you. And as the weather gets nicer, we're going to see more and more folks on the waterways. And so please be safe out there. Thank you, Jeremy. Good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.